Welcome to all the BSc first year students for second semester. Yesterday we have discussed some of the important characteristics, important points with regards to Selaginella. I have also explained the systematic position or classification of Selaginella, then occurrence, external characteristics, internal characteristics, multiplication or reproduction, how the multiplication take place in case of Selaginella, then structure of strobilus or cone of Selaginella. So all these things we have discussed yesterday. Now details regarding the details about the external characteristics and internal characteristics of Selaginella are going to be discussed today here. So while explaining the external characteristics, the important points you have to be remember, that is what type of stem is there. The stem is weak, evergreen. What are the species, what are the number of species which are distributed in throughout world, I have also explained yesterday. And again I recall the same things, repeat the same things, that is near about 700 species of Selaginella have been reported throughout in the world, and they are prefer to grow in shady and moist places, where they are growing in India. These things I have also explained. So in India, they are distributed in tropical, the eastern and western Himalayan parts. So all these things we have discussed. While discussing the external characteristics are sporophytic plants of Selaginella. Externally, what are the different parts of Selaginella? So mainly morphologically, the plant body or the sporophytic plant body of Selaginella is differentiated into stem, rhizophore, roots and leaves. So this is about the figure of Selaginella, which is showing the different parts of the plant body. So the elongated or a shrubby structure, a small shrubby structure of plant body of Selaginella is mainly differentiated into stem, rhizophore, roots and leaves. So there are certain important points while discussing the external characteristics of Selaginella. The branching is monopodial or dichotomous. From that dichotomous point of branching, oppositely geotropic, colorless, without leafless structure is growing towards the surface of the soil, that is known as rhizophore. At the tip, where the tip which is touching to the soil surface produces adventitious roots, which helps for absorption of minerals and water. So here the leaves are very simple, sessile, having a centrally non-branched midrib. At the base of each leaf there is a tongue-shaped structure, that is a ligule. The presence of ligule is an important characteristic of Selaginella. Therefore, the class of the Selaginella is named as Ligulopsida. The fertile branches, at the tip of each branch there is a aggregation of small leaf which are having at their base rounded structure, that is known as sporangium, and that aggregated structure is known as strobilus or cone of the Selaginella. So this is about a very simple description regarding the external characteristics of Selaginella. Again, there are different species have the different structure, external structure. So there are certain species, the arrangement of leaves is spirally or alternate one. Then while explaining the external characteristics of Selaginella, you have to be focused, you have to be study the internal structure of rhizophore, root, stem and leaves. Just while explaining the internal characteristics of, you have to take the transverse section of the stem. While taking the transverse section of the stem, it consists of a outermost simple compactly arranged cells is known as epidermis. If it is a old stem, it is covered with cuticle, and below the epidermis there is a presence of cortex. The cortex may be differentiated into outer cortex and inner cortex. There are certain species are there. There are certain cases. There are species of Selaginella are there. The outer cortex is made up of from sclerenchymatous tissues, or in some cases, in majority of the species of Selaginella, the cortex is made up of from cholenchymatous tissues and parenchymatous tissues. So, in the inner cortex, there is a radially arranged elongated structure which is originated from the inner cortex to the central parts of the stem, which are attached to the vascular bundles or endodermis. They are known as trabeculae. So these are the trabeculae having the air space, and they are connected to the endodermis or vascular bundles. There are more than 2 vascular bundles may be present in different species. More than 2 vascular bundles. So here the endodermis, which is present in the stem, having a centrally located xylem surrounded by phloem. Therefore, in majority of the species of Selaginella, the stele is protostele. So while studying the internal characteristics, you have to remember airspace, trabeculae and protostele. There is a presence of more than 2 stele. Is an important characteristics of TS of stem of Selaginella. Similarly, again you have to take the transverse section of the rhizophore, roots and leaves. You will find different types of tissues, that is epidermis, cortex and stele. So here you have to remember the important characteristics of what type of stele is there. In case of stem, rhizophore, roots and leaves. Then presence of ligule is an important characteristics of Selaginella. While discussing the reproduction, already I have mentioned that is heterospory nature. While taking the longitudinal section of the strobilus or cone of Selaginella, we will find there is a central axis. Here there is a central axis like this. From that central axis, there is a presence of sporophylls. And these are the sporangium. So this is the central axis. On both the sides there is a presence of sporophylls, and on the inner side at the base of inner side of the sporophylls there is a presence of rounded structures. That rounded structures are nothing but sporangium, which contains spore mother cells, and these spore mother cells are responsible for production of round bodies or non-flagellated structures. They are nothing but haploid spores. So in case of Selaginella, half part at the basal level we will find a different type of sporangium, and terminal end of the cone is having a half part, above half parts is having another type of sporangium. Means a sporangium at the base having the larger spores, and the sporangium which is above the terminal end of the strobilus is having a smaller spores. Therefore, the sporangium containing the bigger spores, they are known as megasporangium, and contains megaspores. And the half of the part of the strobilus or cone which is having a smaller spores, they are known as microsporangiums, and they contains microspores. So therefore, on the presence of on a same cone, in the presence of in a same cone, two different types of sporangium and spores. Therefore, the heterospory condition is an important characteristic of Selaginella. Heterospory condition is important characteristics of Selaginella. So here, while describing the reproduction or multiplication in case of sporophytic plant of Selaginella, you have to be focused on internal structure of the cone or strobilus of Selaginella. Internal structure, that is, what is megasporangium, what is microsporangium, and after that maturity. So these spores releases, burst opens the sporangium, then there is a release of spores. When the spores fall on a suitable substratum, the germinates. The megaspores gives rise to female gametophytic plants, and microsporangium gives rise to male gametophytic plants. So there is a development of male reproductive body and female reproductive body is take place on two different gametophytic plants. Well, after the germination of these spores, there is a beginning of gametophytic phase of Selaginella. So again, when there is after development of gametophytic plants, a gametophytic phase, there is a formation of anthidium and oogonium. The oogonium produces egg and anthidium produces anthrozoids. Anthrozoid act as a male gametes and egg act as a female gametes. Anthrozoids are motile, and these motile male gametes came in contact with the oogonium, where there is a fusion of male and female nucleus take place. That process is known as fertilization. After fertilization, the zygote which is formed, which is diploid one, germinates and gives rise to a sporophytic plants, which will be differentiated into root, stem and leaf. Roots are sporophytic plants. In this way, there will be continuation of life cycle of Selaginella. So while explaining the Selaginella, you have to differentiate a sporophytic phase and gametophytic phase. While describing the external characteristics of sporophytic plants of Selaginella, you have to describe that is external characteristics, internal characteristics, then gametophytic phase. Then after that, after completion of these two phases, that is sporophytic phase and gametophytic phase, you have to be focused on that is alternation of generation in Selaginella. So again, here also the sporophytic phase is longer. When compared to gametophytic phase, and the gametophytic phase is independent to sporophytic phase, or sporophytic phase is independent to gametophytic phase. These two phases have their own structure, their own development, their own structure and their own developments. So the alternation of generations is heteromorphic in nature. Alternation of generation in Selaginella is heteromorphic. So why it is called as heteromorphic, already I have explained why it is called as heteromorphic. All these things I have explained. Then while explaining all these things, alternation of generation, so you have to be write down the certain important points. While asking the MCQs, there will be chances of question will be asked what is meant by ligule. There will be questions on ligule, trabeculae, air chambers, then protostele, heterospory nature, megaspores, microspores, megasporangium, microsporangiums. So all these things will be asked as a MCQs questions. In if there is a there is a question paper as a objective type, then you have to be write down all these things. If there is a offline examination that is about 20 marks question, 10 marks question, 5 marks question, there will be any possibilities whether it will be I think almost 100% your examination will be MCQ style. Therefore, you should not be go through details regarding all these things, but you have to remember the important points which I have discussed here. That much you have to remember, and the question will be asked on that only. So after this completion of this Silaginella, in the next week I am going to be take another example, that is equisetum. Then after equisetum, there is one more example, that is Marsilia. Marsilia is there. After completion of these two example, near about 90% of syllabus will be covered, and then remaining parts, that is different types of steel is there, and then again I will take 3 to 4 classes regarding what type of the MCQs questions will be asked in examination. With this, I conclude today's lecture here only. Thank you, one and all.